Whovians, do you like my bow tie sticker? Bow ties are cool. Anyway, we're going to be reviewing the episode from series 6, episode 11, the God Complex. What I noticed right away was the text overlays on screen of praise him and the quick inserts that we had in the footage. I thought just the camera work was very different from what we've been seeing traditionally in Doctor Who, and I really liked it. I thought it made it deliciously creepy, and it did almost sort of mimic the cameras that everybody was on during their stay in the hotel while the Minotaur was watching them. Anyway, yes, this episode was set in a 1980s pseudo-Earth hotel where the Doctor and his companions find themselves trapped, along with 3 other hotel guests, although I hesitate to call them guests. They're more like prisoners. And everyone has a room, which I think is a really interesting concept, and in the room is your greatest fear. And I love the way Whithouse illustrates this by saying you don't know what it's going to be, but when you get there, you wonder how you could have thought it would be anything else. I thought that was just a really interesting philosophical add-on to a show about people locked in a hotel with a crazy like Minotaur running around. So that was really well done. Praise him for that. Sorry, I couldn't resist. There were a couple of things that I really enjoyed. I loved Rita as a character. She reminded me a bit of Martha, who is really one of my favourite companions, and I was just really like, yes, Doctor, take her with you, take her on adventures, have a Muslim medical student or doctor or whatever as your like totally Sherlock Holmes-esque companion. And then Rita, poor dear. I thought the idea of using greatest fears could have been a bit trite, and I was a bit uneasy about it, especially since we didn't get to see the monster in the beginning, and then once we did finally see the monster, he didn't even talk. The Doctor had to interpret for him. But then again, I think hearing the Minotaur's words in the Doctor's mouth was far more powerful than hearing some like grunty, grumbly alien being like, oh, death is a gift. So props to Whithouse for doing that. I wouldn't have thought of it initially. But I also loved how we figured out in the end that it wasn't fears, but faith. I think there's always been a sort of like wibbly-wobbly relationship between the two, which is that you have faith that something will save you from your fears. And I think it's a very interesting idea. My main problem with Amy, I think, in this episode was that it was as though she had never been in The Girl Who Waited. It was like the 2 episodes aired one week after another, and it messed with me that she was having no reaction to that she had this inherent faith in the Doctor that had not been shaken by him knowingly abandoning old Amy. I don't know. It wasn't believable to me that she had such an inherent faith in him, and it also wasn't believable to me that when he shattered that faith in order to free the Minotaur, that she was able to bounce back so quickly from that and be like, oh gosh, you know, yes, you really did steal my childhood and then put me in danger and just want me to worship you, and I'm gonna miss you so much, Doctor, don't go, wah. I mean, I think if there had been a scene of them reconciling, of her saying, I understand, like, why you said those things, and even though they were very real in the moment, like, they're not real to me anymore, then their goodbye would have been a little bit less like, wait, what's going on? This is completely heartfelt, and this is like the real Amy, Rory off in Earth, and Ledworth raising a family, and the Doctor flying off into space without the moment. But like 5 seconds ago, wasn't she just like little Amelia Pond crying because she couldn't believe how she'd ever put her faith in the Doctor in the first place? Like, sorry. So there was that. And I also liked Rory's use of the past tense, of him saying, you know, when we travelled with you, like he was going to stop travelling with the Doctor anyway. And I think it was very clever of the Doctor to pick up on that and to sort of give Rory his wish. But I wish Rory could have had a chance to say goodbye to the Doctor as well. I understand that there was an animosity between the two, but there was also a dynamic. And the Doctor recognised Rory as a very good man, and not saying goodbye to him, I don't know if that's going to come up in later episodes, but I was just really stunned that that didn't happen. Because we've got so many cross timelines at this point with River and the Doctor and Amy and Rory all having 3 now intersecting timelines, and it's getting a bit of like a whirlwind to deal with and to understand. So I'll be really interested to see how the season finishes up. But I did like this episode. I did have some concerns with it. and it did have a lot of disappointments for me, but I think it was really good television, and I love the Doctor being trapped as well and not being immune to the alien or the fears. I really liked that he was trapped too. I think he was more trapped than anyone else in the end, and I think he still could be. Because the thing is, the Doctor never really has had to face his greatest fear yet. I keep thinking about what the Doctor's room would have been in the hotel, because it feels to me that throughout all of the seasons of Doctor Who, his faith has always been in humanity and its inherent goodness, and I really wonder how they would have represented that, or if they would have just gone very small and had it be, you know, little Amelia Pond with fish fingers and custard or something like that. So let me know in the comments what you think would have been in the Doctor's room in the hotel to test his faith, and I will see you next time. Bye, bye, bye.